the ultimate Arbalist PvP guide for beginners. Before we start, I want you guys to know that this is just a basic PvP guide for beginners. You can play Arbalist in so many ways, but this is how I play the class. I may not be the best at playing Arbalist, or my play style won't suit you. I'm still learning too, and also did a whole lot of mistakes and losses in PvPs up until now. These are just a few tricks that I learned from the game, and from other Arbalist users too. Then of course, from my own experience as well as an Arbalist, as an archer, and as any other ranged class in other MMORPGs I have played. And want to share it with everyone new in this class. This is just my own opinion and it might not work for everyone. The play style, build, and skill combo I use work for me most of the time, and I'm hoping it would work for you guys, as well. If after watching this video and you still have some questions, confusions, and if you think I missed, or forgot some stuffs, or you might want to share as well some of your own strategy, tactics, and tricks that I still don't know yet, or haven't discussed here, please, don't hesitate to leave a comment about it. Class Overview. Arbalist is a glass cannon class. It's a high DPS, but squishy class in MIR4. It means, an Arbalist can deal a massive amount of damage at opponents in just a few skills quickly, and have a few debuff skills too. But has the disadvantage of low defense and low HP. To compensate for these disadvantages, we have the skills to evade, dodge, or escape from any class, to be able to survive a fight. First things first, before you go and hunt for an enemy, get your ultimate skill loaded first from Peach Blossom Valley, switch all of your skills in manual mode, disable auto attack, and should always ready up your PvP decks, pots, and jump scrolls. Select Hostile in your PvP mode, and turn the Attack Players Only in on state, before entering 4F Valleys, Secret Peak, Magic Square, or in any danger zone areas. So that you don't have to toggle it every time you bumped into an opponent head-on in those areas. Also, put your jump scroll and divine water in your quick slots, and set a hotkey that is very convenient for you, for easy use. My jump scroll hotkey in my quick slots is Q, and my divine water hotkey is E. Strategy. The best strategy to do in a 1v1 PvP with an Arbalist is to attack first, and keep your opponent's distance away from you, and kill as quickly as you can. If you can't kill your opponent with your skill combo in your first attack, then kite them, do a hit and run tactic, or get away in any way you can, and wait for your skills to cool down. FYI, to those who doesn't know what kite or kiting is. Kiting is a term primarily encountered in MMORPGs, referring to a popular method of killing mobs or other players by staying at a distance, using ranged attacks, and running whenever the enemy comes near you. Never forget to keep off from an opponent's attack range, cause if an opponent caught you off guard, or attacked you first, then they got you knocked, stunned, chilled, blinded, or silenced, then you only have a very low chance of surviving, unless you're quick enough, or got lucky to break free from it. If your HP and mana are enough for another skill combo, then engage back the opponent for a kill. But never engage a fight in closed, tight, or small spaces, where you can't move freely. Arbalist is useless if you can't kite your opponent, cause taking damages from an opponent is a cardinal sin, and it's not an Arbalist's role. If you want to fight closed range, and like trading damages, then you should have chosen a melee class, like a warrior, or a lancer. In team fights, valley wars, or in a castle siege, always attack from behind the melee class and stay close with the healers in your party, and never charge, or advance a group of enemies first, and alone. Guys, before I end this strategy section, I will leave a few more words for you. Always make use of all the advantages that you can acquire in-game, or in any way you can to win. It doesn't matter what your opponent says about your play style. The only thing that matters is to get kills as many as you can, and not get killed as possible. Though, not dying seems hard. But having more kills, and dying less than your opponent, is still a win for you. If you can't outfight them, outsmart them. Skills and combos. Before we start at the skill combos, let's take a quick but in-depth review of all the ARBALIST skills, so that you guys will know when, and in what situation these skills are best to use. Arrow Rain. Arrow Rain is the ARBALIST's ultimate skill. This skill is not available in auto attack. The best time to use this is in your final blow, when an opponent is almost drained out of HP, and they are running away, cause there's a chance to stun them as well. This is also good to use when dodging an opponent's skill combo, or incoming skill attacks, or when you are getting away, cause you will be invincible for 3 seconds after casting, and that will buy you enough time to escape. Quick Shot. With this skill you'll get to mark an opponent. It means that, when you use a skill afterward that requires a mark, such as the Heavenly Bow and Obliterate Shell, you will inflict more damage and debuffs. But most of the time I'm just saving the skill and only use it when my opponent is in darkness, to trigger blind. FYI, when an opponent is in darkness, all of his attacks on you will miss. And if you got lucky, then it will result in a blind. Blindness will still have the same screen effect as darkness, but this time, the opponent is also silenced. Silenced is when you can't use any of your skills for a time duration. Paint Strike Gale. I mostly use this skill after throwing the Burst Shell skill, and Obliterate Shell afterward. It will mark the opponent and might also stun them. Also, the best skill to dodge knockdowns and other skills, like the Seeking Bolt from an ARBALIST, Piercing Spear from a Lancer, and the Immolate from a Sorcerer. Illusion Arrow. I usually use this skill if I failed to kill my opponent with my skill combo because of the evasion buffs, so that I can evade some attacks while preparing for another skill combo. Also, you can't be knocked down and stunned when casting this skill, good for dodging knockdowns and stuns. Burst Shell. I only use Burst Shell skill to debuff an opponent. Mine's not an epic grade yet, but this skill is so good if you have an epic grade, cause it will deal damage over time on opponents. The effect is just like burn damage. Damage over time will still be in effect even outside of the skill radius of Burst Shell. I mostly use this skill after casting Mind's Eye skill. Flash Arrow. This is by far my most favorite skill of an ARBALIST, because of the darkness that may result to blind if it stacks. When an opponent is in darkness, there's a good chance to also blind them for 3 seconds. Other than that, it will also mark and debuff an opponent's accuracy. The best time to use this skill is after casting Venom Mist Shell, for guaranteed darkness or hopefully blindness, if the opponent's debilitation resistance is low. Heavenly Bow. This skill is best used when you have marked your opponent. It will deal a massive amount of damage on enemies. The best thing about this skill is when it is already an epic grade, there's a chance that it will instant reset. It means you can use it again instantly without the cooldown. Mind's Eye. This is the first skill I use for a buff before charging to an opponent. If this skill is in epic grade, it will also remove darkness or blindness. Ice Cage. I mostly use this skill to slow down the movement speed of an opponent when they are attempting to run or getting away from the fight. It also has a chance to freeze your opponent for a time duration. Best time to use this skill is when your opponent is running away, when they are in darkness, or after using Venom Mist Shell or Flash Arrow to inflict more damage and guaranteed debuffs. Obliterate Shell. This skill is also one of my favorite skills. When you marked an opponent and uses the skill, you will gain bash and damage boost. I usually use the skill to knock down an opponent or to cancel their skill casting. It is best to use when an opponent got stunned from your Paint Strike Gale skill. Though, I still use it after Paint Strike Gale even when the opponent wasn't knocked down. Venom Mist Shell. This is the most wanted epic, or legendary grade skill of most ARBALIST users, except me. This skill though, will make your character very valuable in the market, if you have an epic or legendary grade. This skill will marked, triggers darkness, and also slows the skill cooldown of an opponent. In epic grade, the opponent can't be invincible for 10 seconds, and it's unremovable. Best time to use this skill is when an opponent is invincible and in team fight. Good to use upon Taoist class when in team fights or war. Seeking Bolt. I mostly use this skill for the final blow of my skill combo, or when chasing an opponent with a low HP. This skill deals a high amount of damage on your opponent, and at the same time debuffs them. Might also stun them. Sometimes I use it to dodge knockdowns, like the piercing spear skill of a lancer. The best time to use this skill is after using your cloaking skill, to inflict devastating damage in a 1v1 scenario. Cloaking. Using this skill will give you invisibility for a time duration, and recovers your HP, good for getting away from a fight, or to confuse an opponent. The best time to use this skill is when you will use the Seeking Bolt skill afterwards. Skill combos. Skill combos are kind of complicated, and it depends on the situation you are in. Sometimes you have to improvise your combos in order to keep up in a fight. You also have to consider your opponent's strategy, level, class, and builds, as well. And don't use the same combo over again. Maybe twice is fine, but more than that is not good. Cause if your opponent notices it, they might come up with a counter combo. Another good thing to do, to improve your PvP skills, and skill combos, is to practice every day in the duel arena. Though, winning duels in the duel arena doesn't guarantee someone that they would also own people in danger zones. Like some of my opponents, they can easily beat me in duels. That's why they are so confident in facing me 1v1 in the danger zones. But when it comes to the danger zones, they can't even damage half of my HP. It's just that, my play style isn't that much doable in duels. Anyway, what I mostly do in the duel arenas are just learning other classes' skills, and combos. I don't just go there to win duels. Dueling someone who frequently loses to you will gain you nothing. Only duel players in the arena that you can hardly beat, but still close or within the same bracket of your level, power score, and gears. Now here's all the combo I use. Again, this might not work for you. But there's no harm in trying, right? First combo, Mind's Eye, Burst Shell, Pain Strike Gale, Obliterate Shell, Heavenly Bow. Final blow, Arrow Rain, or Seeking Bolt. Second combo or follow-up combo, Venom Mist Shell, Flash Arrow, Ice Cage, Quick Shot. I often use the first combo when I get to attack first at my opponent. You can also do the same. If your opponent's HP is almost drained, or just about a quarter, or less of their full HP after using the first combo, then proceed to the final blow. For the final blow, use either Seeking Bolt or Arrow Rain. But never use them both yet, save one of them for your second combo. If you failed to kill the opponent with the first combo, then use Illusion Arrow, to lessen the damage you are about to take. And at the same time still dealing a decent amount of damage back to your opponent, while preparing for the second combo. If you can just deal with the damage inflicted on you by your opponent, then proceed to the second combo. If your opponent is inflicting severe damage on you, then use Cloaking, and activate Jump Scroll to get away, or just use a Divine Water and find a safe zone, while kiting the opponent away from you. For the second skill combo, I also call this a follow-up combo. Best time to use this combo is when your opponent survives from the first combo. Let's assume you have already used the second combo. And at this point you are probably running out of mana, but I'm quite certain your opponent won't able to survive this combo. If they did, then proceed to the final blow. For the final blow, use one of the skills you have saved from the final blow of the first combo. Either Arrow Rain or Seeking Bolt. But if by chance they still survive the follow-up combo and the final blow, then use any available skills you have, while spamming normal attacks at your opponent until they are dead. If they still aren't dead yet, and you think you can beat them, then kite your opponent to reload your skills, then reset the match. This time you are on your own. It is up to you if you'll still do the same combo, strategy, and tactics over again, or just improvise until you beat your opponent. If you and your opponent are in the same bracket of level, power score, and gears, and you have used all those skill combos, and also did improvise on your own, but still not getting a kill, then you might have to consider on reworking your build, and practice more. And get back to that same opponent again, next time. That's all it for the first part of this video. For the builds, stats, and gears, I will just save it for part 2. So don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Thanks for watching and have a good one.